Fox News alert now. Tensions rising on the peninsula in Korea. South Korea and the U.S. announcing plans to press ahead with joint military exercises, and Pyongyang firing back, saying it is fully ready for either war or dialogue. That's a quote. Michael Waltz, former Green Beret commander, former counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Cheney. How you doing, Michael? And good morning to you today.
Hey, thanks, Bill.
Do you think the Olympics changed anything in this relationship?
Well, you know, Bill, I can tell you one thing. Don't think for a second that the North Korean missile engineers and nuclear scientists were sitting around on vacation watching the Olympics on TV. They've been charging ahead to get the North Korean regime a functional ICBM that can hit anywhere in the world. So, you know, while on the one hand, I think, you know, this was an olive branch by the North Koreans, they're also using it as a propaganda ploy on their part. They've done this for years and years and years, and they will use this to buy time. So I am reassured to see the Trump administration, Secretary Mattis, and his counterpart in South Korea talking about resuming these military exercises on March 18th after the end of the Paralympic Games.
Well, James Mattis isn't going to back down. The Winter Games conclude this weekend, but Paralympics follow that. Jim, I don't think it's any coincidence that Rex Tillerson did this interview with 60 Minutes the other night. Just a quick clip of that. I'll ask you specifically about this comment here.
All right.
But you are willing to work with and potentially negotiate with Kim Jong-un?
Well, that's who we will have to work with to achieve this diplomatically. What we have to determine now is, are we even ready to start? Are they ready to start? And if they're not, we'll just keep the pressure campaign underway, and we will increase that pressure. And we are doing that every month. There are new sanctions rolled out. The world wants North Korea to change.
So I don't think this administration has softened at all, listening to Tillerson and the president and James Mattis, as I mentioned ago.
No, that's right.
Do we think the South Korean leadership has gotten soft enough?
That's the worry. You know, President Trump, Tillerson, Mattis, they are moving forward with a maximum pressure campaign, and that's exactly what they should do. The fear is that South Korean President Moon, who is a liberal in his political system, wants to turn to what they call the sunshine policy, which is a resumption of aid. He has agreed, apparently, or is in talks to go to North Korea for a summit. The last one was in 2007, didn't produce much, and that essentially they'll sit down and allow the North Koreans to sit them down, get bogged down in talks, and allow North Korea to buy more time. President Moon of South Korea is under a lot of criticism from the conservative side of his political body for being naive and allowing himself to be played by Kim Jong-un.
Okay, so if our rhetoric is still red hot, so is theirs. When North Korea says they are ready for dialogue and for war, they're matching us word for word, Michael.
Well, that's right. But, Bill, here's the key piece. The best way, the best path to peace is through economic pressure on China as well and on North Korea as well. They are not going to willingly just give up this program, and we have to maintain that pressure until the North Koreans make a meaningful concession. You know, the best way to avoid war is through diplomatic and economic pressure, and so I think this administration is spot on its policy.
Okay, does any of that change, though, Michael?
Well, look, I think you're going to see a continuing dialing up of the pressure. You're going to see the administration start to move forward with secondary sanctions on Chinese firms that are continuing to do business with the North Koreans.
But Michael, we've been down this road time and again. It seems like we come back to the same points repeatedly, and nothing has changed.
Well, that's actually, I think that's a little bit of a misperception. The sanctions have been on North Korean firms. We have never truly implemented secondary sanctions on Chinese firms. There is some fear that that could actually start a trade war with the Chinese retaliating against American firms.
Right,
but I'll take that. But I'll take that over a shooting war any day, and that's the key piece that has to move forward.
So you
it's
really
China that can end this.
Got it. You really see a different. You see an escalation of the pressure on China and in turn North Korea.
Oh, there's absolutely an escalation. If you just remember, just back to the UN Security Council a few months ago, the Chinese ordered all of its banks to stop doing business. You also had Kim Jong-un in his New Year's Day speech announced to his people that they're under the maximum amount of pressure that they've ever been under. The North Koreans are feeling the heat here, but that's exactly when they start to extend the olive branch to try to get the South Koreans to sit down and relieve that pressure, and that's where Mattis, Tillerson, and President Trump have to keep their foot on the gas.
That's really
here.
good analysis, Michael Waltz. Thank you for being here today. Appreciate that. Out of Florida today in Jacksonville. Thank you, Michael.